Alright guys, welcome back to Strong Successful Male. So for today, I'm going to go over a very interesting email that was sent from a subscriber. This from a guy, sounds like he's probably about 19 or 20 years old. He's a young guy. I mean, he's not far off from being a kid. And he shares his story how recently he kicked to the curb his nut job girlfriend. A gal who in the beginning appeared like she was normal and all that, but after a while, the true colors started to come out. The problem is, because he was young and inexperienced, didn't have a good mentor, he stayed with her in spite of the fact that she displayed crazy behaviors like controlling. She was very controlling, tried to limit who he hung out with, friends, family, was crazy if he even looked at another girl, that type of thing. Yet he stayed with her, he kept trying to make her happy. And this, like I said, this is an example of what not to do. And an example of how it's so important that young guys have a strong, masculine mentor to teach them reality. That's why it's so important that boys grow up with fathers and strong fathers. And if they don't have a father in the picture, a grandfather, an uncle that can talk to them about reality. While it's so important that young guys really do everything they can to build themselves up, build up their self-esteem, and that way they don't allow people like this into their lives. And if they do slip into their lives, they cut them off immediately when they see bad signs. That's why I'm always encouraging you guys to really be on your grind and make something of yourself, to become the best you can be in all areas of your life. You'll feel so much better, and it'll keep these people out. And of course, how it just simply, also, if you are a parent watching this and you have a bad marriage, and you and the wife, everything between you, you're fighting all the time, there's just no love there, and you just stay in it for the kids, well, it's a bad idea, because those kids are going to grow up thinking that turmoil between you and the wife, the lack of love, the lack of anything, the fighting, the drama, that's normal. And those kids will end up in relationships like that in the future. Like here, like this kid. I don't recall him saying anything about his family, but I'm guessing he didn't have the best role models and thought, hey, all this turmoil is normal. And you don't want that for your kids. So a lot of important lessons to get from this guy's story. Now, again, I said he's young. He's 19, 20 years old. So I'm not going to be as tough on him as I would normally, because he's that young and inexperienced. If he was 10 years older and he was doing the things he does, oh God, I'd really be smacking the shit out of him. But anyhow, guys, this is a good one, and definitely entertaining. So it starts off, he says here, hello SSM. I haven't seen much of your content, but I feel like this will be one of the craziest stories you will see. Well, young brother, it is definitely crazy, and she's crazy, and you were crazy to stay with her, but at least you've learned. And maybe the reason you've put up with her for so long is because you haven't seen a whole lot of my content. I met her at first at a job when I was 17 years old. At the time, I was not interested in her, but so I only saw her at work as a friend, but as months went by, we grew attached to each other and went on a date. Then another date, and we became official 4 months later. Well, the fact that you didn't jump into a relationship with her, that's good for you. You took 4 months. Should have been longer, but you were young. For a time, I was in a very good relationship. Well, that's how they all start. I knew going in she had social anxiety, but a lot of people do, so I didn't think too much about it. Everything changed in June of 2022, roughly 9 months after we started dating. She was in France and Spain, and I was at home. When she got back, 3 things happened. She became super travel obsessed, became very concerned about the loss of Roe versus Wade, that'll tell you something, and became much more jealous and overly protective. Right then and there. If she's becoming overly protective and jealous, that's the time to depart. You do not need that bullshit in your life, especially if you're not giving her any reason to not trust you. And oftentimes when gals are that crazy jealous and assume you're cheating for even like looking at another woman, then I would tell you maybe she herself is a cheater and thinks you're going to do what she does. It's an important point. While she was away, I drove 2 hours to meet a Ukrainian refugee for coffee. I knew her before the war started. She hated that I did this because it was weird and she was a girl. She's 38, married, and has a kid while I was 19 at the time. Well, dude, that is actually a little weird. I actually can't blame her too much for being a little like, what the hell, because driving 2 hours to see some woman and you're 19, and, you know, that's a little, even still has me a little curious why you do that. But if he said nothing happened, nothing happened. The travel session started while watching travel TikToks and YouTube channels before she realized that's what she wanted to do, thus making a plan to be traveling 3 to 4 times a year. And he says in parentheses, with what money? Yeah, that sounds like a typical 19-year-old who has all these grandiose plans but has no actually way to finance them. Who's going to pay for that? She hates kids with an absolute passion and declared the intent to never have kids. When Roe was overturned, she developed a plan where she gets a hysterectomy and I get a vasectomy. We were literally 19 to 18 years old. She spent the next months hounding me to start the process of getting one, and that it's unfair that she has to take birth control. Well, a lot of guys watching this, I know from the comments and people writing in stories, have had vasectomies, and you know what? They made that choice as an adult, and I can't blame them for lots of reasons. But you need to do it because you truly want to do that, and you've really taken time to think about that, not because just your girlfriend of a few months wants you to do it so she doesn't take birth control. You know, I didn't want one, but I was scared to say no to her directly. Smack. Number one, if you don't want one, then you don't do that. You don't just do something like that major to make her happy. That shows weakness, and women exploit weakness. And two, what do you mean you're afraid to say no to her? Okay, a real man would say no to his girl. And I guarantee when you first started dating her, you probably would have said no to her, and she would have been attracted to that. When men act weak, women lose respect for them, and either dump them, / cheat on them, or treat them worse until they man up. I booked an appointment with a urologist and was willing to do one on a young person on 1/6/2023, but I canceled it days before going. I made up an excuse that the doctor got into a car crash. Oh, for God's sakes, you could probably look it up online. No, you just say, I'm not doing that now. I really need time to think about that type of thing because that's obviously a big deal. And if she doesn't like it, tough shit. Find another boyfriend. So already you can see the problems here, guys. She's very demanding, jealous, bossy, all that. Not girlfriend material. She texted me one day that she wanted me to take me to St. John's wort, which is an OTC antidepressant, which can maybe cause infertility. I said no because that was the epitome of effing stupid. I have sensitive kidneys and can't really take many medicines, including ibuprofen. She was not happy with me saying that and said that with every medicine. I eventually lied and said the doctor would only do it on 21 plus individuals, which promoted to constantly reminding me that I am getting snipped and that she would pay for the appointment since I was being such a bitch about it. Dude, why the hell are you with her? She better have the best body in the world. She can F like a cougar, like a tiger, all that, but I'm guessing that's probably no. You see, guys, what tells me is this guy doesn't think too highly of himself. That's why he's with a controlling chick like this, bossing him around. Why else would he be? And also, he probably, I'm willing to bet you, grew up in a family where mom and dad didn't love each other. Mom bossed dad around. He thought, this is normal. This is a normal relationship. See what I'm talking about here? She blackmailed me with no SCX until the vasectomy, although she always forgot that threat when she was horny. Also told me to give my mom daily reminders that she was not going to get grandchildren. Okay, psycho. She wanted to do a work exchange over the summer so she wouldn't see people that she knows, her worst fear, and wanted to drag me along. I objected because of my family, school, and work. This got her to call me a mama's boy, which wouldn't be the last time. She then advised me to drop out of school, to travel with her, and to quit my job. Oh, for God. So disrupt your plans for your future so you can go travel around Europe with, again, who's paying for that? Probably you. This is ridiculous. She's a wacko, controlling. She's obviously mental, and she's immature, disrupting your purpose. No woman can disrupt a man's purpose. The plan for money was that she would run a TikTok channel and a YouTube channel while I worked on a travel blog. Oh, and she wanted to live in a van too so we can travel easier. I didn't want to do any of that, but I didn't want to say no, so I kept buying time. Smack! Grow some fucking balls and speak your mind. They don't want to do this. Or end it with a chick. Don't be that guy. This is why she treats you like shit, because you just placate her. And by the way, nice plan of hers. Well, I'm just going to start a TikTok channel and a YouTube channel out of the blue, and it's instantly going to be a success and finance my travels. Newsflash, it ain't that easy. Even if you start a YouTube channel and become successful, even if you have your overnight hit, that still takes time to get paid. YouTube doesn't pay you right away. It takes at least a month after you become monetized and to be approved to be monetized. And you have to build up your base before you can start making any real money. And it all depends on your audience. There's so many variables with regards to being financially successful on YouTube. There are people that have big channels, but they don't make a lot of money because depending on who their audience are, commercials, all that type of thing. And just assume that she's just going to make a lot of money. But again, this is the mindset of a child, an immature 19-year-old like you that just assumes everything will work out. That's not how adults think. I found that funny when I read this the first time about YouTube. It's like, yeah, everybody has that mindset that, oh, I'll be an instant success. YouTube ain't easy. A van is a small thing, so a lot of things cannot be possessed. She encouraged me to get rid of a lot of my things that I own. Refusal is me getting called a hoarder. When I was 6, I went to England with my family and bought a dinosaur umbrella. I liked it and held on to it, hoping to pass it down someday. We were cleaning out my car one day and she found it. We got into a tug-of-war over it where she ripped it out of my hands and threw it under the driveway and began stomping on it. The umbrella disappeared into the house and I never saw it again. Dude, what the hell? Why are you still with this broad? Right? I mean, every guy watching this is probably like, what the hell, man? But again, he's like 18 or 19 years old at the time. Now, I know a lot of you guys would have headed into the sunset after all this bullshit, but again, I don't think he has a mentor. I don't think he thinks highly of himself, and I don't think he had a male role model and had parents that had a loving relationship to show what a relationship should be. Around this time, she attempted to increase the grasp of her iron fist of jealousy. There was this one gal at work who I talked to a lot, and she was a key figure in us getting together. She started hating her and kept insisting she's not my friend. Later in the relationship, she would hit me if I talked about her. She's actually getting physical with you? Again, get the hell out of this relationship. She kept encouraging me to stand up to my mom and stop being a mama's boy. How about you stand up to this girlfriend? This is because I refused to throw my life away. She stopped coming over to my house entirely except in rare circumstances. One instance saw her come over with her dog, hid in the corner and not saying a word, and eat dinner and leave without even saying thank you. This is around the time my interest became stupid, and so did all my friends. He says, my friends are awesome, and I did not stand for her talking bad about them. Well, good. You shouldn't let your girl talk bad about your bros. I once got done with a night out with them, and she told me, I hate your friends, and said, I really don't, and I said, I really don't care what you think about my friends. How about that? You finally grew some balls. She only had a few friends compared to me, my several groups of friends. One of my friends who got into touch with prompted a threat from her, which she would break up with me if I hung out with him again. Okay, break up with me. Have a nice life. And I guarantee you walk away and all of a sudden she'll change her tune real quick. Problem is you keep trying to placate her. At this point, work exchange completely fell apart because I refused to be a part of it. In December of 2022, I invited over some friends to play Monopoly. One of them was a girl that I dated in the 10th grade for a month. She went ballistic and blocked me on everything for several days. It was previously arranged that I was going to buy concert tickets for us for Christmas, but because of the incident, I was having second thoughts. Unfortunately, after talking with her, I caved and bought us tickets for $60. Smack! This is why you're in the situation that you're in. You had a chance to get away from her and you're still with her. I can only get tickets in Denver for March. We lived in the Chicagoland area. We had plans to go to Italy in May. We bought the tickets, but the flight was canceled, and we got a refund around this time. Again, who's paying for this? And what are you doing in school or getting a certification or being in a trade? I'd like to know what you're doing for your future here. Now, there's obviously time for fun, but pissing away all your money, letting your time at school and everything be screwed up because of her, that's crazy. For New Year's, we had a plan for her to come over to my house, and she tried backing out of it. I got off work at 11 p.m., but was convinced to come over. She doesn't work at my job anymore at the time, and she had the bright idea to go on a lunch break and never come back, ruining her reputation there. So she's proven to be very volatile and unpredictable, and this is not someone that you can trust to be in a relationship with, let alone count on financially if you're in a relationship and she's expected to contribute to bills and things like that. On a Friday in January, we had a plan to go to the art museum. She was waiting in the parking lot for my class to finish. Context here is I had some possible hypertension issues, and I took my blood pressure that morning and thought I said 115/75. I went to school and got a call from my mom, and she took the sticker off the cuff, and it was actually 210/110. Holy crap. This wasn't actually correct. I used the cuff incorrectly, but we did not want to risk it. I went to the hospital immediately and let my girlfriend know everything as it was happening. Now, a good girlfriend would be concerned about this guy. But watch this. She was more upset about missing the art museum than being me going to the hospital. Is this not a clue at this point, aside from all the other bullshit you shouldn't be with this broad? She texted me, I waited all morning, then refused to talk to me for 5 hours. Later in the day, she said that she would hang out with me, and I brought her a Subway. I wouldn't bring her anything. The only thing I'd bring her is a piece of crap inside a roll. An offer I refused, but she still hung out with me anyway. Another girl got on her shit list at work because I brought her chocolates for Christmas, since she agreed to switch shifts with me on Christmas, allowing me to hang out with my family. He says we work at a 24-hour pharmacy convenience store hybrid. She finally got a job at a supermarket and kept trying to convince me to quit my job and work with her. That would be a terrible idea, so she can watch you all the time. Offers I refused over and over again. Her new May plan was to go to Mexico for a month. I put my objection in, and she said she would go without me. He says not many people thought Mexico was a very good idea. She called me a mama's boy again because I wasn't going to Mexico because my mom said it was a bad idea. Yeah, well, unfortunately, there's been a lot of shit going on with the tourists being attacked and kidnapped and awful things in Mexico. So, yeah, it was a right idea not to go. No offense to my Mexican subscribers, but you must understand what I'm talking about here. I said I didn't want to go to Mexico because everyone I talked to said it was a bad idea. She kept reminding me that this was our last summer because we were going to go to Colombia for 4 months, and he says again, with what money? Her plan was to work for hostels and stay there for free, but you had to stay there for a month. Again, all these grandiose plans, everything. I gotta wonder if she's manic depressant, with all these grandiose ideas and everything, and it's like, how are you gonna pay for that? Where is that? How's that gonna happen? She kept reminding me that this. I read that part. Two big things happened in March. We went to Colorado for the concert, and my dad found his birth family after 50 years. My aunt came over for spring break, and she did not give a rat's ass and constantly referred to her as the weird lady, and did not care at all that I was going to meet my biological grandpa for the first time ever in July. You'd think a loving and supportive girlfriend would be happy that you're going to meet your, dad's parents for the first time and everything, a reunion. I wonder, I'm guessing his dad is adopted, hence he doesn't know that side of the family. In March, I began one of my lifelong dreams, which was writing a book, and she thought it was stupid, and I should not do it. There's another sign. Guys, you're going to know who's on your side, on your team, if you have an idea in this world, like he said he wants to write a book, or if you want to start a business, or you want to do something really cool, and if somebody that your girlfriend or friend says, that's the stupidest idea I've ever heard, that'll tell you everything you need to know to get rid of them. But this guy's had plenty of reasons to get rid of this chick. You need someone that's supportive. That says, that's a great idea. What can I do to help you come up with that? Good ideas to make that work, blah, blah, blah. We were once talking to her friends, and she tried to mock me by saying that I was writing about what I was writing about, but her friend didn't take her idea and said that my idea was cool and to keep doing that. See? Yet her friend, who she's probably going to hate now, thought it was a good idea about you writing a book. Good. Colorado was actually fun, but it was always what she wanted to do. I wanted to fish in a river behind our Airbnb, and she threatened with canceling the Airbnb, which she paid for. My birthday was in April, and she picked NYC as the place for us to go. Well, not that you should be with her, but why is she running the relationship? Why aren't you saying, hey, let's do this, let's do that? It's her way or the highway. This is why she treats you like shit, because you just are that guy that goes along with everything she says, and as you said, you're trying to not make her mad and all that. No woman is going to... Would you respect you? Think about that. Behaving like this? You can't act this way, guys. The way they show guys in the movies that just go along and do whatever the girl wants to make her happy, you're not going to make her happy. You're going to make her lose respect for you and think you're a pussy. Okay? Men have to lead, but you got to be the type of guy that a woman can trust to have the guy lead. I objected at first, but I agreed later. See? You're a pushover. Mid-April was when I reached the decision that I wanted to break up with her. Well, thank the Lord, it's about goddamn time, dude, after all this bullshit. I deemed it was the only way to save my future and my balls and myself in a van. I also developed an interest in someone at work, which degraded my interest in my girlfriend. Well, God, don't go from one wacko to another, man. Take some time to be on your own and work on yourself. But if it took an attraction to some other girl to get you away from this nut job, then so be it. While we were at our Airbnb, I had to fight to watch what I wanted on my birthday. Trip overall was good, but I should not have to be in a different state for her to be nice to me. My work best friend left around this time, and I was looking for a new one. The gal I was crushing on and I were getting along very well, so I told my girlfriend I had a new choice. Knowing full well there was going to be a big drama fest, why didn't you just break up with her? She said she would break up with me if she became my new friend at work. Seeing this as an easy way out, I came back a couple of days later and told her she was my new friend from work, and she did nothing. On May 2nd, 2023, I ended it. Thank the Lord, dude. She went from controlling sociopath to whiny. She went from being a controlling socio to a whiny little bitch. I saw her only one time after the breakup to walk her husky. I only agreed to because I was very interested to what her plan was. I got there and she had her makeup on, a nice shirt that made her boobs look as big as possible. The conversation was normal at first until I got into the I can do better. I pretended to listen to her for a bit before saying I could never forgive her for what she did, and I said it in the highlights in this email. I never saw her again. She tried texting me again to hang out, but I always said I would bring the friend she hated so much. I haven't heard from her at all in over a week and a half. And that is the end of that interesting and unusual story. Now, much has to be said. Bro, I don't ever want you hanging out with this crazy broad again. Ever. Okay? She is poison. All this time you wasted with her. Now, one can argue that there's lessons to be learned in every life experience. Fair enough. But seriously, she brought nothing but turmoil to you. This is not girlfriend material. This is not anything material. I don't want you ever talking to her again. Block her on all social media, anything you can. If she shows up at your house, say, listen, we've broken up. It's over with. Say it peacefully at first, and we're going our separate ways, blah, blah, blah. And if she won't leave you alone, then you need to take action. But do not get involved with this girl again, ever, even so much as a Christmas card. Ever. I don't care what she does. And she's going to bug you. Her pride's been destroyed because you're breaking up with her. And also the fact that in her mind, because you display weakness for so long and were a total pushover, then eventually you'll cave. I want you to never contact her again, and you need to work on yourself and ask yourself, why was I letting her boss me around, push me around all this time? Why was I staying with a woman that treated me like complete fucking dog shit? Is it because I don't think very highly of myself? That I don't deserve better? That could be a factor. Is it because my mom and dad had a bad relationship and that's what I observed and think that's what's normal? That could be a factor. Did I not have a role model telling me what I'm telling you here? That's a factor. Put those all in together and I think you might add up why you're with a girl like this. And I'm saying this to the guy writing this, but also to lots of guys out there that are in awful relationships with their girl's a wacko and treats him like shit. Guys, you deserve better. All of you that do relationships, you deserve to have someone that treats you with respect and loyalty and love and all that. Not like this. I mean, good fucking Lord. And I'm willing to bet you she was cheating on him left and right. There's no way that wasn't happening. But all the different things she's trying to get him to do, women don't do that to guys they respect. And they can't love you, they don't respect you. But if you act like a pussy, let him walk all over you, this is what you're going to get. Now, again, he's a young guy. He's 19, 20 years old. He doesn't know any better. And that's why I'm not nearly as harsh as I'd be with other guys that are older and should fucking know better at some point. So, young bro, work on yourself. Do everything you can to be successful. You're in school, good. Get good grades. Major in something that obviously is going to be useful with that degree. At work, you can, you're young, so you can have some fun, but also put away money and start putting it away, investing it, etc., etc. And the next girl you get involved with, really take your time to get to know who she is. And the second there's any kind of bullshit like this again, bossing you around, the number of stuff that she was doing, get out of there. I'm sure you can replace her. And even if you can't replace her at the time, guess what? There ain't nothing wrong with being alone. The problem is a lot of guys cannot be alone, so they'd rather have some girl brings all this drama and turmoil in their life than actually being a bachelor. Okay? That's what all guys need to do. They need to work on themselves and build them up so they have a self-esteem that they're not going to allow people like this into their life. And if they do come in their life, they won't stay long and handle being alone. So many guys get in these bad relationships because they can't handle being alone. It scares the shit out of them. So, anyway, guys, that'd be a good one here just to show you what not to do and exactly why I say the things I say about building yourself up, having a good role model, and for you guys that are in marriages that are shit and you want to stay in it because you don't want the kids to be unhappy and break up a family, those kids see you, mom and dad, in an awful relationship, they will end up in ones just like this because they think that's normal. So there's always a lesson or two in everything I cover. All right, guys, that's it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let me know what you think about this. Take a moment, guys. Give this kid some tough love. You know, to be assholes, but give him some tough love where he went wrong, not to do this shit again so he understands. Because I don't want him to go through this again. But he will if he doesn't learn something here. And be sure to like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe. I'll catch you next time.